I'm Will Hedrick.
And I'm Jordan Schaffer.
And this is Dog Ears and Timestamps, a book club podcast.
Bringing reading back. Saying it again.
Just old faithful. When you can't come up with a new tag, just use the original. Bringing reading
back, bro. And dude, it brought it back for me with this book. Like, I've been kind of doing old school Jordan stuff, like putting it off till last minute right before the show, and then listening to the whole audiobook like section right before the day before, and then fucking missing one little chunk that we talk about right before, so that the reason so that I get it all together. But I've really been enjoying it, like, and with other audiobooks beforehand, sometimes I had listened to them like twice over maybe, but it was on like times 1.25 speed, just a little bit faster or whatever. This time I straight up like listened to it at like one speed, and if I missed something I went back, except for the last little chunk, because honestly the last little chunk I was trying to finish it in time, but the rest of it I was like really trying to pay attention, and I've just been enjoying it. Like, the voices have been good. It's a good book. It's a good audiobook. And just on a whim, listening to Joan's recommendation is just like not bad. Honestly, I'm really enjoying it. There's a lot of different things in the book that like I haven't expected from this universe, and then it's answered a few questions that I had that were just sort of like offhandedly put. Last time we had an episode, last week, it just and a few things are answered, like you can die a true death by fire. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Right.
But anyway, it just a pretty normal week. Other than that, my truck, I got in like a fender bender kind of accident in the week. I don't know if I told you about that.
No.
And like, how traffic will just stop all of a sudden, like super crazy fast on you, dude. Fucking, I was driving. I would admit, if I was like texting or on my phone or something, my phone was mounted, I might have glanced at it. But nothing more than like a glance at a mirror or a glance at something, And then next thing I knew, traffic was backed up, and I just fucking slammed on my brakes. And the only thing I could do was make the decision to like dodge this lady's car and like kind of sacrifice my car more on like on the side
barrier and stuff.
Yeah, the barrier, exactly. Or take us both out. Yeah. So I was like, all right, and luckily I dodged us. She got out and came and checked on me, and I think she was just super grateful because it saved her a lot of trouble, and
right, yeah.
And then there was a really nice guy that hopped out, and he came over he pulled up his truck right behind me, and he hopped out. He's like, hey bro, you okay? I was like, yeah man, thanks for hopping out, I really appreciate it. I shook his hand, and then I drove off, and it knocked my tire off, like kind of like if you imagine a tire just being straight up and down like it normally should be to drive, I'd say it was twisted a little bit, like, and then my bumper was kind of messed up, so I had a little help, and I ended up getting it fixed relatively cheap actually, but the expensive part was like I bought all new tires because I needed fucking 4 new tires, and then so I was just like, well, I messed up this tire, might as well get new ones, all new ones. It's time, bite the bullet. So I got all new tires, and then I got like a full like dope little, like, they had some summer package at the auto place that was like they change out all the filters and the oil and all kinds of things, and they check your car. I don't know. It was just some fun package that saves you like $100. So I did that too, and then I was worried that I was gonna have to like pay for a freaking crazy alignment and some crazy like body work or something. And then luckily I got it fixed for free, just an afternoon of work. So it was pretty cool. Got new headlights in there. It looks cool. So like my weekend was pretty manly compared to my normal weekends. pretty cool. And then the book was just, the caveat on top, How was your week, bro?
It was the same as every week.
You didn't do anything special?
But that 9 Inch Nails song every day is exactly the same.
How's it been without Kenneth? It's been 2 weeks now?
Yeah, I suppose so, since he moved out.
There's any different? Not really?
Well, there's no longer a cat in the house, which is easily the best thing. The sponge doesn't get left in the sink, which is also a really good thing. There's only now one person that I have to redo dishes of after, so that's, half the work.
Are you worried about Kenneth hearing this? Striking back.
I've told him all this stuff before. No. It's definitely different. Having, 1/3 less of the people in the house.
Yeah, and the living room's gone.
It's just a big empty space, yeah.
But there's an upstairs living room just as good.
Yeah, but that's about to disappear too, because that's all, or at least all my stuff's going in my room. So.
Oh, yeah, to fill your living room space in your room. You got a dope room, dude.
Yeah, it's a pretty sweet spot.
Where do you read?
Right now, mostly just in bed.
That's cool.
Whenever the couch moves into the room, then I'll be reading on the couch.
You have like a lamp and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're on your Kindle. You're on your Kindle. You
it lights up.
Nice.
Yeah.
And the last hard button.
And I want to get some chairs to sit in the corner where the windows are up there.
Oh, cool.
Like a couple, like maybe like a love seat or like, a small little recliner-esque kind of chair. And then that would be where I would read.
You know, it would be dope if you could like find a stud and like drill in like a loop.
Like a hammock?
And then just,
like one of those
chairs? Yeah, the hanging hammock chairs.
Yeah, that would be pretty
I have one of those chairs and I drilled it into the tree outside. And it's nice, just to go sit outside.
That would be interesting.
It's nice for outside at least, but like, you don't have trees, I guess. Yeah. And it's always weird drilling like a hammock into your house. My brother set up some hammock hooks in his house and it was cool. Because I did actually fall asleep one night in the hammock because I was just like, let me try it out. And I sat there and I was watching videos and I fucking fell asleep. And the next thing I knew, it was basically time to get up for work. So I just slept the last like hour and then got up for work out of the hammock. But it was cool. I've slept in a hammock a couple times. Let's hop into it, man. Where did we leave off? What was going on with... The
last thing. The last thing was that...
the
last thing was that Scythe Faraday gleaned himself.
Oh, yeah.
And so they were getting split up.
He gleaned himself because at the last... what are they called? The
conclave.
Conclaves. Thank you. The last conclave, they said like you're not allowed to have two. They have to fight each other.
It was decided they would be pitted against each other at the end. Yeah.
And he was like, well, maybe if I split them up, they won't have to. And then, of course, ironically, like they still fucking have to fight.
Right. Yeah. They get picked up by other sides.
Yeah.
We sort of see there's there's just two major plot points that happen in this section of reading, and we'll just talk about those. And
hit them, and then we'll talk about everything else that we like.
The only things that happen are we find out what Esme is about, that child that Goddard has been holding on to. It's the High Blade's daughter. And so he can use her as leverage to make the High Blade Xenocrates do whatever it is that he needs to be done, And then the second major plot point is that Citra at the end gets framed for Faraday's murder.
Yes.
So now she's going to become a fugitive. I think the beginning of the next chapter literally is, or next section is literally entitled, I'm pulling it up right now, Mid-American Fugitive. So,
fugitive, so she's on the run.
Yeah, she's going to be on the run whenever she wakes up from, the recovery center.
Yeah, some obvious, like, big things just to connect, like, what happened. Like, so Goddard picked up Rowan, and then
Curie picks up
Citra. But what was the big plot point with them? And then Petrie's the little girl, and that like
Esme.
Petrie. Who the fuck is that? Esme is the little girl that
survived the food court cleaning.
Yeah, we learned the big secret with her, like you just said. But like Rowan has to be specifically like nice to her and like make sure she's cool, and like I don't know, there had been like a big kind of thing around her and making sure that Rowan made friends with her, like while he was under Goddard's.
Goddard tells everybody to whatever Esme wants, she gets.
Oh, for sure. But then Esme kind of has a thing for Rowan, so
sort of seems to be. Yeah.
Well, also too, he said like she's crushing, but it's a little girl, so it's a little girl crushing on an older boy. I mean, it's just like typical things. And then Curie and Citra have a really cool kind of relationship. Like, she seems very like moral, like with her scythedom and scythe choices and stuff. And she's also like the oldest one. I feel like
she's one of the oldest ones. It certainly seems. She gives an estimate as to how old she is. She's just like, she says something to Citra at one point, like, once you're over 200, you'll think a different way too, or something like that, But she probably doesn't know her exact age. For the same reason that nobody knows her exact age, because no one gives a shit anymore.
Oh, dude, one crazy thing I learned in this reading was that they had something called the Purge, where a bunch of scythes went after all the people that were born from the mortal age.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize that there were still potentially people from the mortal age that hadn't got...
that weren't born post, mortality.
Yeah, well, yeah. And so they hadn't gotten reaped or whatever. Damn it, I always forget the word.
Gleaned.
Gleaned, thank you. Yeah. They hadn't gotten gleaned. It's funny to me thinking statistically you'd think they would have gotten gleaned. But of course, maybe they, flying under the radar and not getting gleaned or still showing signs of life and vigor in life. That's kind of what Curie's into. If you sort of have a loss of, drive in your life, she seems to kind of just be like, all right, well, this guy doesn't seem to have anything left to give, so he's ready to move on.
Yeah, she's like this universe's version of assisted suicide.
Kinda, yeah. Yeah, she's got to be.
Except she makes all the decisions.
And she makes her quota, too, which is surprising. You wouldn't think she'd make her quota. She seems too moral.
I don't think that there's any relatable logic in this universe.
Yeah, I know. They don't have a single... They haven't told us a single
that actually
quota.
Exists. Yeah.
They're like, one guy's quota is a freaking bus. The other guy's quotas, it seems like, is a
That's also regional as well, they've said a couple times. But yeah, I think that it's going to be interesting... Because I did not expect Citra to be framed for Faraday's murder or for her to become a criminal of the Scythe.
I didn't even expect Faraday to, for that to be a huge thing. I thought for some reason Faraday did just commit suicide.
It makes sense that it would be like a self-gleaning so that he could release them. But it makes sense, but it is kind of too neat of a bow tie for the Faraday chapter, Mm-hmm. Like, looking back on it and now seeing that it is likely was some sort of setup and murder. It's like, yeah, that is a little too convenient.
It was hard for me to think, too, that, I was like, how could you set up and get the murder? Because, you'd have to make it look like he killed himself. But then we find out that a scythe probably just paid off some people,
bribed the regulars that were around
with immunity, so that he could just be say that he gleaned himself,
right?
And then they'll be like, "Yeah, I totally saw him glean himself."
And also tampered with the camera that was in the spot at that time as well.
Oh yeah.
So there's no video footage of what happens at that moment.
Yeah, no footage. So highly suspect, but not enough to run on, but enough to get you in deep doggy shit with Goddard.
Right.
Enough info to get you in the in the deep end, but not enough to actually get anybody in trouble. So it's super frustrating, kind of almost.
Yeah, Citra's working on that investigation or whatever, and so I guess what we're led to assume is that Goddard set up the setup for Citra.
Yeah, whether or not he was there, he set it up for sure.
Yeah, he definitely at the very least had people that are in his pocket put the bug in the Highblade's ear to do this or something, whatever it is.
What exactly was the Highblade's job? Is he he's not the main Scythe, is he?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, that's straight up it? Okay,
mm-hmm.
then that was exactly what I was thinking. I just thought he had some other thing. Okay, cool. And that's how, and we, since he has the Highblade's daughter in his pocket,
he can basically do whatever he wants to.
How does he not get him back? How does he actually own that little girl?
Who knows? I don't think that Esme knows that that's her father. Because she's an illegitimate child, because you can't have kids as a Scythe. You're not even supposed to have, personal relationships. So
it's already taboo that Citra and Rowan smoochied.
Yeah. Although you could probably assume that happens to young Scythes and stuff like that. And
you can only have one apprentice, dude.
Well, not that exact situation.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But
go on.
So little things like that, and presumably, I think if you were real strict on it, they're probably not supposed to really have a lot of friends either or anything like that. But even Faraday had acquaintances that he admitted were kind of friends and things like that.
It seems like you're not supposed to have friends.
So, everybody bends the rules a little bit here and there, but Faraday would have never taken a lover, presumably, from what we are given of his character.
Yeah, Faraday seems very by the book, and it was kind of cool because he was so statistical about his gleanings, whereas Curie's way more moral. So it's interesting to see how it's going to affect Citra, because she came from freaking here are the numbers, every now and then we got to kill kids because kids used to die, so we'll have to glean some kids. He didn't say kill. We'll have to glean some kids. Whereas Curie's like, I don't glean.
She refuses.
She's like, I don't glean kids. I've gotten in trouble for it, but really it's just a slap on the wrist. They don't care. I mean, I'm 255.
Right. Yeah. I killed the president, bitch.
Did she?
Yeah, remember we were talking about that last week even.
It was Curie, though? I forgot.
Yeah.
Curie. She's crazy, man. I remember her being controversial.
She seems there might be some like further reveal about all of that because Citra asks her about it and Curie is just like, yeah, I used to think that I could make, those sort of grand right decisions, but I don't think that way anymore.
You think she's going to get suicided?
Not before the end of the book.
Okay.
I could see that being
the next book.
I could see that being like maybe the final event of this book. Because but I also thought that, this novel would end with the both of them becoming Scythes. Certainly since, at the end of last section of reading, they got separated. So we thought, okay, well now they can both become Scythes. They don't have to fight each other. And then immediately they're like, no, they still have to fight each other.
Oh yeah, that rule's still there. Why would you have to stop being fighting?
Right, yeah.
I mean, you gotta fight to the death. That's what we said. And what we say goes.
And so, that was already thrown out the window. I was like, okay, so then one of them becomes a Scythe and then we lose one of the characters. Or they figure out some way to get around it. And I guess the way that they get around it is now Citra's a fugitive of the Scythedom. So,
Fugie, if you will.
I think what must happen at this point is that Citra works to break the system from the outside and Rowan works to break the system from the inside. And while they might not necessarily be able to do that together, because I imagine it would be really difficult for them to have any contact with each other.
Breaker of chains, these guys.
Yeah, they're going to break the wheel. Don't you want to
break the wheel?
So that, I guess, is how the plot's going to move forward for the remainder of the series as we follow Citra doing things from the outside. Maybe she still has contact with Curie. It'd be interesting to see what Curie does. Mm-hmm. And then we also obviously follow Rowan, who I assume is going to attain his Scythedom, and then whatever happens to his character. Because he's still sort of like, maybe he goes bad, maybe he doesn't go bad.
He's very up in the air.
They're giving us some like, will he, won't he bullshit with him.
I like to think it's gonna be one of those like, we'll win him back in the end. He's gonna go kind of bad, but he'll never go fully bad, and then we'll get him back. But
he definitely, I think that, and we'll probably maybe learn another thing about Faraday that turns a couple of things that they had, assumed on its head. And like some of his morals might get broken and he might have to reassess the way that he sees everything. But I think he's going to continue to be a good guy. I don't think he's going to go full masculining for fun Goddard style.
Okay.
Like maybe he says like, yeah, maybe we don't have to be like 100% austere. Like, maybe we get to live in a semi-nice apartment. Like, like maybe we don't have to have bare bones Spartan living like Faraday thought, but we obviously need to be moral about our gleaning. Like he finds the middle ground or whatever. Mm-hmm. But the Scythe's already doing that, so how is that revolutionary? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with this narrative with these characters.
Yeah, I think you already said it, where how like Citra escapes the, like being framed for the murder of Faraday, thank you. She escapes for at least a couple days by jumping off the freaking tallest building she can find and gives an incredible splat. And then it'll take like 4 or 5 days to regenerate her body. And then these, what were they called? The Blue Devils? The blue suits? What were they?
Yeah, they were like...
They work directly with the Thunderhead, and they answer only to the Thunderhead. And the Thunderhead has no, can't intervene in any Scythe opportunity, or like any Scythe things.
But as a dead-ish person, she's now just a regular servant. She's no longer in the Scythe
So it's like, you can get her back when she's not dead anymore. When she's pronounced alive, you'll get her back. So she's buying a couple days.
So what happens in those couple days? Does Curie step in and try to do something to help, or
that happens.
what?
That's what happened. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I haven't read it, obviously. Oh man,
I feel like what would be super cool, or not super cool, I don't know. Right now, what I think I would want to happen would be Curie breaks her out of the hospital, and then they both go rogue together. Yeah, and they try to tear down the Scythedom from the outside.
Dude, bring it all down.
Be interesting.
Dude, what if she faked her suicide? Is that what you said?
No.
Didn't think so. What if she faked her suicide
Nobody's
to leave the
done
Scythe
suicide, though.
Curie.
Oh, well, she hasn't done that yet.
Yeah, but what if she did it so that she can go rogue with Homegirl?
That would be potentially interesting, but I think that I don't know.
It'd be so hard to fake your suicide in this day.
Well, it has to be a corpse. Yeah, that's the thing.
Got to get a corpse.
There needs to be. I just don't know how Citra gets out of it without somebody breaking her out. So who breaks her out? It's got to be Curie.
Well, she's not in there yet, but she'll get mailed directly there.
Well, there's going to be Scythe waiting outside the recovery center, literally waiting. The Blade Guard are going to be there, like at the door, saying, "Okay, the second you walk off, like across that threshold, you're ours again, and we're taking you." So she has to be broken out of the revival center,
unless they conveniently forgot. I'm just kidding. Yeah, she's got to be broken out.
So, but it has to be Curie. Nobody else would care unless Rowan hears about it and then goes to break her out, and then the both of them are fugitives. I don't know. I
think Rowan's got to be their inside guy.
Yeah, because it would be. I don't think it would be. It would be considerably less exciting and less interesting if they were back together and from the same side of the revolution.
Yeah, because then they could just run away. Why would they have to fix anything?
We have to be able to see what's happening on the inside.
Yeah.
Certainly with the main enemy. When we've already got somebody in with the main enemy, it would be strange to suddenly abandon that point of view. Mm-hmm. So, Rowan stays there. Maybe Curie doesn't, go rogue, but breaks her out and is able to sort of, be like, I don't know what you're talking about, I don't know. She's the only one that seems... And maybe Xenocrates... No, because Xenocrates was pretty into the idea of Citra having trouble. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't really know. And I think, like I was talking about in the Game of Thrones podcast, I don't know that if it's because I'm not spending the time analyzing everything that I'm not coming up with any ideas, or if it's just because I'm just literally engaged in the story still.
Yeah, man,
I'm not totally bought
for the
in.
Ride.
I'm just enjoying it, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% bought in. I think I still like Citra much more than I like Rowan.
Okay.
But
I like the inner turmoil that we get with Rowan when we go in his head. That's
Rowan
fun.
is becoming more complicated, and that can be interesting potentially, unless they blow it writing wise. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like I say that all the time.
And
I say that as filler.
Predict
I just say that as filler is what I do.
Then you predict half the book.
It's like my version of It's just for me to say I don't know what's going to happen.
I don't know what's going to happen, guys. So just stay tuned as we figure out what's going to happen. But, dude, this... this is just a crazy, universe. There's so many things, that just go on that I'm like... Oh, man, It's almost hard to wrap my head around, but since it's fiction, I can just ride along and accept it, and it's cool.
Well, it's a pretty unrelatable setting,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how far in the future it is. It feels like it's current era, but they had it's like, why isn't anybody texting?
Well, they give us a year that they finish mortality, or that they beat mortality, and that was 2057 or some shit.
Yeah, but
and then
why aren't they texting?
I don't know. Maybe they don't care.
Kids.
Well, also,
I'm just kidding.
Rowan and Citra shouldn't be texting. During their apprenticeship, I don't think that they're allowed to.
Why don't? Well, I mean, I'm just saying. Why don't we see any sort of technology? I feel like it's all
Well, the characters that we were following didn't really have any. So we never met any of Citra's friends, if she had any, and Rowan had the one friend who he just interacted with in person. And so, I mean, I don't know. There just didn't seem like there's any opportunity for texting to be a thing to happen or whatever. Citra has her phone because she pulls up the videos at the Conclave when she talks to Rowan about her investigation. She pulls up stuff on her phone. So they've got a phone.
Okay. Good.
I don't think that this book is about technology aside from the literal immortality of the Thunderhead. But, yeah.
Oh, dude, I know we said it last episode, but it got me the chills this time. Is when they were talking about how the Thunderhead started off as the cloud, and just how we were all uploading our data into the cloud, and then eventually, the cloud they created like an AI for it, and then it became like an omnipotent AI because it knew all the info that we had uploaded into it. And I was just like, dude, that's so crazy. Oh, dude, there was a timestamp, in the book that I wanted to drop that they say the wrong word. They say scythed instead of side. He was like, I scythed, instead of side. And it was, I'll give you guys the timestamp for it. Sure. It was at 5:51, 5 hours, 51 minutes, and 15 seconds. And it was super funny.
55115.
Yeah. So if you want to catch them messing up. It's like in TV shows when, like, I noticed that, like, they didn't put the flowers in the flower pot or whatever, or they're like in a scene in Arrested Development, there's one specifically that's like that. But, yeah, I mean, where do you think the book's going to go? Where do we have to go with it?
We've got 2 parts left. Parts 4 and 5.
There's only one more conclave, right? The winter?
There's only one more as far as their apprenticeship is concerned.
And then,
but with Citra being a fugitive, she's, out of that.
Yeah, I guess that doesn't matter anymore.
I think that... So Rowan becomes a Scythe.
Right.
That's going to be... If not how the book ends, I think that's how our interactions with him end in this novel. Obviously, we'll see him next novel.
Hopefully we still get his perspective, because I do like hopping into him.
Yeah, I think we spent too much time with him for us to not continue with him, in the next books. With Citra, I mean, she gets broken out of the revival center and then meets some underground system of society that we didn't know about, because that's what always happens.
Dude, throw the book away.
But, like, how else could she exist? If not, like, without... And maybe it's not even like a secret society or something, but maybe just some of the Scythes that are on Curie's side all conspire to keep her hidden or something like that. I don't know. And then she just kind of hops between the houses that those Scythes live in or whatever, while they try to figure out what to do.
Just kill her
We just
off.
haven't heard of any resistance movement or anything.
Yeah, they're all pretty just chill with, like, the Scythes killing people and then the Thunderhead reviving everybody, when it needs to be.
Right. Maybe the Thunderhead protects her.
I think the Thunderhead's going to do something. Like, it's going to make contact with her.
Because they have sort of,
like,
more than once during this last chapter, talked about how... But maybe the Thunderhead does think something about the Scythedom or whatever.
And, like,
so...
it hasn't gone... Like, it's gone silent for her because she's a Scythe, but now she's a fugitive. It might come unsilent and help her out. Which would be something that would be quite cool if she had a little Thunderhead fairy in her head.
And I feel like the...
Oh, the Thunderhead. What if that's how she communicates to Rowan?
It would have to be, like, super elaborate back-end stuff, because...
She'd have to, like, send him a letter through the, like, through a back door underneath, through the Thunderhead's, like, something, like, some elaborate...
Right. Well, do they have email? That's another question. Like, is that a thing? It must be. But they haven't bothered to talk about that possibility. I don't know. Because the Scythes still have, like, their own personal, like, accounts or whatever you would call it in this world. Like, they can upload videos and pictures, and they've, assumed that they can get, like, their email account and stuff like that. But, I don't know.
I like how all the places are, like, West America, Middle America.
They're all, they're just, like, they dropped the first and last letters of different real-life locations to make them, like, we know where Mid-America is, but it's not Middle America.
Yeah.
It's like, not literally Middle America. I don't know what happens with Citra. I don't know how they implement the on-the-run character in this universe. I think I'm going to say that the Thunderhead, it protects her. Because those fucking Cloud Guard people were there pretty quick.
Yeah. Dude, they were on her. I feel like she might become a Cloud Guard, maybe. Like, that might... No?
I don't see how that helps narratively at all. Because the whole point is to fix the Scythedom. And the Cloud Guard aren't going to do anything. The Cloud Guard are just literally there just to introduce like the police force that the Thunderhead controls, and be like, these are the people that can stop the Highblade from immediately collecting Citra. And this is, so maybe Curie doesn't have anything to do with the breakout. The Thunderhead is orchestrating all this. Because there's the Thunderhead watches, and the Thunderhead sees everything that happens. So the Thunderhead probably knows everything that's going and is like looking for an opportunity to intervene in the Scythedom and help fix it. And Citra is that opportunity.
So, see what you're saying.
That's my current theory.
Dude, that's a good theory. That's good. Dude, that's literally like the next fucking paragraph is going to be.
And then Citra woke up and the Thunderhead told her,
"You are my vessel for my plan." Dude, shout out to this instant coffee you put through the coffee pot. It's
you have to drink it while it's hot. Don't let it get cold. I let my first batch get cold and it was awful.
But up until that point, it's not bad.
It's as good as McDonald's coffee.
And McDonald's coffee gets a lot of good rep for some reason. So I've heard
as far as fast food goes, it's better than McDonald's coffee. I think is better than Whataburger coffee because I think Whataburger literally just cheaps out for the instant.
They water out all their drinks, dude. Don't get any sodas from Whataburger.
McDonald's has like the McCafe brand, so I think they might go as far as to have their own brand at least. That crazy man who murdered his neighbor and then fled to Argentina or wherever he lives now.
That's where all the Germans and the Nazis went.
Right. He's a Nazi German.
There are crazy.
Confirmed.
There were Nazis that fled to Argentina from Germany, and there are like areas in Argentina that are German speaking. And they have like a Wurstfest or an Oktoberfest. And
right.
It's awesome.
It's not as good as Taco Cabana coffee. The only problem with Taco Cabana coffee, at least in my experience of the Taco Cabana next to my Best Buy store that I work at, is they don't know how to pay attention to the filter because probably 30% of the time I get like just an ass ton of grounds in my coffee when I get to the end of it.
Dude, now that you've mentioned coffee, it makes me think of like, I haven't really noticed that many drinks in this book except for like the champagne at Goddard's parties, which is something we haven't talked about. Goddard has a lot of parties, and he does a lot of flamboyant, really cool, like, let's have a big, good, fun time. And it always talks about how Rowan's having a hard time kind of morally with the fact that, like, he has a good time at these parties, but he knows what a piece of shit Goddard is. But so it seems like he's like a master at corrupting people because he's like, look at how good our lives are and we're perfect, and he's giving all these people just like such love and support. It's almost like how Scientology gets you because they make you feel like you are like a special being. I think is what they make you feel a special thing, and so it's just, I mean, he's just masterful at it, and he's just and that's why I think it makes it seem like Rowan could be going to the dark side, but then it's like, we keep pulling him back a little bit every now and then. And I think seeing Citra at the Harvest Conclave or whatever it was, I think that helped. And I definitely think that when he killed her, that he was putting on a show.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's given to us that he was putting on a show because he comes up with it in his head. Yeah. You know, that's his. He realizes the only plan that he can do because he wants to make Citra doubt him, because otherwise they're going to continue to do this dance of trying to fail for the other one's sake. And so,
he wants her to think that he's changed.
Yeah, so that she can like go, all out, and because he's determined to let her do it and kill him.
And it actually seems like Rowan's the better of the two at being like at like all the scythe skills. Like he seems like the better fighter, the more like observant, the more strategic, and like
he was also training way harder at fighting. Because they spend some time at the beginning of the section of reading saying that he just gets shredded.
Oh, yeah. He's like, 4 months I was looking at my body in the mirror for 30 minutes a day.
Right. And fucking Scythe Rand is like being all fucking pervy with him. She's like, oh, you can fucking come hang out in my room anytime you like, whenever you're of age.
Punch me in the face anytime. Didn't she say something like that?
She said something, yeah. She was, so like whenever he starts like getting swole, he makes mention of how like she starts like hinting at like lewd rendezvous whenever he comes of age, and then after he cracks or breaks Citra's spine, she says something like, "Oh man, you can snap my spine any day," or something like that.
Yeah, like, "Oh, that's so kinky. Do you want to get your spine snapped and let him fuck your dead corpse?" Like, I've been saying fuck a lot, but like necrophilia, dude, that's not funny. So why'd he even write it? Why'd she say it?
Because she's like the animal of the group.
She's a monster. You're right, the animal of the group. A necrophile.
I'm into Scythe Rand. Scythe Rand can get it.
Which one is he?
She's the one with Asian leanings, with Pan-Asian leanings, and she was the one telling him that he can crack her neck anytime or something like that.
Okay, my bad.
She's the only female in Guard's retinue.
Oh, yeah.
They seem to also think, all of his acolytes or whatever, they seem to know that Goddard's just like an idiot. Because there's that one time where he says, like after, when they're going to throw the party because he's super excited about how Rowan handled Citra, he says something obscene. Not obscene, but just like obscenely stupid. And they all laugh at him, and Rand's like, he's such a fucking idiot. But you gotta love, like, how, like, confident he is or something like that.
Yeah.
So, like, even, like, his followers recognize that he's just, like, this, like, blowhard, like, weirdo, like, idiot. But they subscribe to the idea of breaking away from the old Scythedom.
Oh, yeah, he's leading in a new era, and everyone wants to be a part of it. They
the only one who seems to think that
he's visionary.
So I don't think that Rand and Chomsky ever say anything like that. Volta does. Volta's the only one that says anything like that. And even that, we can then, after we get the sort of reveal that he's not cool with a lot of the methodology, we can then sort of, extrapolate that he is just saying that more as a means of trying to convince himself that he needs to stick with this route. He doesn't probably actually think that, if he's being honest with himself, he's not about most of what Goddard says. He just wants to be part of the future rather than part of the past.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be literally like...
Yeah, but he doesn't really subscribe to a lot of the ideals that Goddard's putting forth. Certainly not the mass gleanings and the fun that Rand and Chomsky seem to have with that.
I wouldn't enjoy a mass gleaning, but I would do one every now and then, I think. Like, I think I'd have to.
You think you're just such a procrastinator that you would have to catch up every now and then?
I hate to think that it would come to that, but I like to think that I'd be like, well, statistically, I have a vacation coming up. So, I'm kidding. So let me take care of some work. No, I mean, car crashes and, like, mass shootings nowadays, I guess, happen all the time, but, I mean, those are all staged anyway. I'm just kidding. Oh, man. No, but, I mean, man, if I was a Scythe...
Who do you think your
I'm trying to think...
patron historic would be?
Heisenberg. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I have nobody in mind. Who am I into? They picked like scientists and philosophers and shit, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I know any of them.
Those are at least the ones that like we've come across. Or they've all been either scientists or, philosophers and people that worked in the social space.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what mine would be. Do you have one?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I think it would be... I don't know. It's hard to say because it's all about, like, who you are as a person or whatever and what you relate to.
Yeah, and the message...
Like, we would fundamentally be different people in this universe because we would be okay with the idea of, one, living forever, and two, every now and then, this autonomous organization decides who gets to die. So it's a totally different mind space than we are in our actual lives. So maybe I would think differently because of that. There's a real gothic and romantic side of me that would say that maybe I would be Edgar Allan Poe, and it's just be like super morose and like sort of like self-hating
lovers, and you'd get like
star-crossed lovers.
I don't know. What are Romeo and Juliet? What are they?
Shakespeare, Jordan.
Yeah, but still, you kill them because it's sad. Fuck them. Who are you killing in Edgar Allan Poe?
Well, that's so the person that your patron historic isn't necessarily like your method of what you look for in people to glean. That's just like your overall morality and personality.
I guess my bad. Okay, I see. Edgar Allan Poe. No, that's cool. I like that. That'd be dope. That'd be good.
But I also think that I don't know who else. Maybe Robert Frost.
I'd probably go with like Dog, a bounty hunter. It pretty much embodies me, right? Fight for Christ. And,
oh my God!
Find yourself some Christ, and if you accept Christ, you'd get. Dude, I think I'd be Dog. To my friends, the bounty hunter would be what they might be. I'd be patron or Scythe bounty hunter, and people would call me Dog. Now I can't think of anybody that I embody other than Dog that would be directly to my standard.
Yeah. Maybe from like a political standpoint, I've always sort of admired Winston Churchill. Maybe I'd be Churchill.
I liked Ben Franklin.
Oh, what the fuck are you Benny Frank?
That's how close we are.
Would have never figured that out.
Yeah, no, I like Ben Franklin. Maybe that'd be my name. I'd try to be like innovative and creative and be one of the founding fathers of like of the new era, but I wouldn't let freaking homeboy Goddard get in the way. I'd be one of the true rebels. I'd be a rebel, bro, just like freaking Benny Frank. Benny Frank was a rebel. Our country was founded on rebels fighting the man, dude.
You can't keep calling him Benny Frank. That's ridiculous.
It's gonna catch on.
That's ridiculous.
Oh man, if I was hanging out with Benny Frank back in the day, we would have, dude. That's what he would have let me call him. I think. I mean, I would have called him that. He probably would have liked me though, right? Like Benny. He went by Benny every now and then, like his mom called him that, or his dad called him that, like when he was pissed. Benny.
No.
Benjamin Franklin. What's his middle name? Benjamin Delano. I'm just kidding.
Delano. Everybody that's old, his middle name is Delano. I don't know what his middle name is. I don't know. Worthsham.
Man, do you, I mean, obviously we don't know what Citra's patron name is going to be. Obviously,
I just don't think she becomes a Scythe until the revolution's over. And she has to become like, instated as a Scythe because of her work in overthrowing the corruption or something like that. So that's like at the end of the series.
Rowan's probably going to pick a name that fits best to trick Goddard. To see. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he'll pick something necessarily that goes directly with him because he's going to be part of the revolution, but he's going to pick something that fits to make him look like the perfect disciple.
Well... No? I don't think necessarily, because once he becomes a Scythe, he becomes a Scythe. He's still like a junior Scythe, but all that means is that his gleanings get picked by, the gleaning committee or whatever.
The gleaning board.
But he doesn't answer to anybody aside from the general Scythedom at that point. So while he could then at that point set himself against Goddard, that would be a risky thing to do because then with all of Goddard's like pool and resources, then now he's, fighting the political fight against
everybody.
Goddard. So I don't think he wants to, put his cards on the table at that point, but I don't think he's got a full Goddard to that degree anymore where he has to then be like, the patron historic that I pick is Hitler. Like he doesn't have to, try to like make himself obviously on the more extreme evil side or, whatever. Obviously Goddard doesn't view himself as evil. The villains never do.
Do you think that like in a society like that there would be people that would be like, dude, okay, wait. The mortal age, 2052. It's over, right? 2052.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it was like 2050 something. Yeah,
it's like not that far.
Mm-hmm.
That's not enough time to get rid of 100%ers. Like us that are like we're not 100% anything, you and me, but like we're way more. We're not just like a gray man with Asian leanings or a gray person. You know what I mean? We're not just like the generic one with a tendency towards one way. We're very much more unique. And even after the mass culling of everybody, I feel like, how did you miss the people that survived mortality or like through the mortality era? You know what I mean? Wouldn't they be so much more obviously different looking?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe not, because there would be people from like literally right after that era, but I feel like there would be a much more as time goes on. So I'm sure Citra's a more like
I feel like I remember amorphous. She was like 30% Afric or something like that. Because there's a point where her and Rowan are talking, whenever they first meet at the theater or whatever, they're trying to figure out how they could be connected and why they would both be anonymously invited to this thing. And that was one of the things that they thought about. Well, what are our genetic makeups? Like, is that possibly part of it? But yeah, I don't remember exactly. What I think of whenever I have Citra pictured into my mind, I think of a person that is like an African American complexion or something like that. That's the character that I picture.
You don't have an actress like Beyonce?
Beyonce.
No, throw in who is the one in Battleship? Rihanna.
Battleship. Yeah. Jeez, that's a weird reference.
That's the only movie I've ever seen her in.
That's the only movie she's been in, I think.
Well, there you go.
Probably because it was such an awful movie.
I guess I could have said that singer Rihanna.
I know. Yeah, that was. I guess you were relating it to
that acting. Famous actor, Rihanna.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, but like of that skin tone.
Okay.
Although she's from Barbados. I guess I'm wondering a lot of things about what's going to happen here.
Yeah, and I mean, we're knocking the rest out in this next chunk, so I don't see...
Yeah, we're finishing the book this week.
And we're recording.
Which for us, we're finishing the book in 3 days.
So, if you want to keep up, read it in 3.
Right.
And then sit on it for a week and wait until you hear what we have to say about it.
Wait until you hear from us on Monday. Or Wednesday, sorry. We're done with Mondays. For now. Or Monday episodes for now.
We got to pick a book Friday too, guys. So if you have any suggestions, send them to us. You know our Instagram and our Twitter and our Facebook. We don't have a Facebook and our Gmail. So hit us up on that. I mean, do you have anything else you want to say on the book? I don't want to cut it.
I don't think so. I don't really know what else to say or think about it. His copy's getting worse and worse. That's what I think.
It's getting to the point where it's like the coffee's about to end the show.
God, this instant coffee's horrible.
Yeah, I know, and I gave it a shout out 20 minutes ago. Because it was okay 20 minutes ago. Anyway, dude, I'm excited for what's to come. And obviously we know what the next section is that we're going to read. So it's going to answer a lot of questions. As far as I know, it's a 4-book series. I don't know if he's still writing, but I think there are 4 out right now.
I think that's, where it's at.
And I don't think they're too crazy long of reads, any of them. So I think that, honestly, this might be another good one, just like the Gentleman Bastard series. I think this one, along with that one, will be another fun series to kind of side continue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hopefully, I have a suggested book from a friend of the show, Caitlin. She suggested one, so I'll run that by you later this week. But
cool.
It's a Neil Gaiman book, actually, so it'll be a throwback to our debut author.
Well, see, the problem is I don't like Caitlin, and I want you to know that, Caitlin. I'm looking at the mic as if it's you. I don't like you.
He did look at the mic when he said that. So I still like you. You're good. You got half of us on board. So if you want to come on the show, only one of us will be rude. No, but I think it'll be a good at least contender for some books. So if y'all have any suggestions, hit us up. You know how. Ears_stamps. Dog ears and timestamps@gmail.com. You got it. That's it.
Yep, that's it. We'll see y'all next week. I'm Will Hedrick.
I'm Jordan Schaffer.
This is Dog Ears and Timestamps. Go Bruins.